Making a lot of money in a very short time should be your goal. Unfortunately, most women entrepreneurs are living in the life of making very little money in a very long amount of time. We need to change that. In today's episode, we are talking about what it really takes to create you a new identity, a shift on what you need. I want to change your perspective on money, on how you can make money and attract money to you. And I'm going to change the story and the narrative that you're telling yourself. Why? Because it is time to finally make more money in less time and have the rest of the time to live your life, enjoy it, be healthy, do all the things you want to do, and enjoy what you're building. Let's get into today's episode. All right, so let's start talking about what this means. At one point in your business and your life, you agreed to everything you have. I want to take a moment and let that just sink in. What does that mean? That means that if you hate the house you live in, at one point in your life, you agreed to live there. If you hate what you do, at one point in your life, you agree that that was okay for you to do that. The offers, the people, everything we do, we have accepted it in one way or another. We're living in this world where we have said okay to letting people pay us $97 for an 8-week live intensive that we do, or that we let people run all over us when they're not the right client. We have agreed to that. That is where our starting point, that is our problem. So I want to talk a little bit about why we do this and how we can shift this. What happens is it starts with two ways. You can believe, one, that you're just not good enough yet, and you don't feel that someone would pay you that. Or two, that you just can't foresee yourself paying that to somebody else. So I have a really good friend, and she was like, oh my gosh, I would never pay $1,000 a month to be part of anything. Like, that's ridiculous. And I was sitting here going, well, I charge $1,000 a month from people who join me, right? That's one of my tiers that people can be at. I have paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in coaching, probably close to $1 million at this point. There are things you pay for and there's things you don't pay for. So what I have found is it starts with how you have accepted these offers in your business and in your life. So let's start right there. Take a moment and just think about it. Have you created an offer or a product, or you're working with someone where you're just like, I should have said no? That is a starting point. That is where I tell a lot of people when you do this, that's your big no. That is, I will not work with it. We call it a ground floor. I'm going to put a ground floor. I'm no longer going to go below this moment. I'm only going to work with people from here and above. That is critical when we're looking at this whole picture, because if you're okay working with a $27 product all day, every day, I'm going to tell you right now that you're making very little money in a very long amount of time. You're going to take years to get what you want. Now, yes, comment back and tell me there are creators who are making multi-million dollars selling $27 products. I know, but it is a pure volume game. When that volume dries up or something shifts, it goes quick because it's a volume. However, if I need to make $1 million a year and I charge $30,000 as a container for people to work with me inside the House of Court, I don't need that many people to work with me to make $1 million a year, right? Two different scenarios. So for me, I rather work with the right people who are willing to pay me the money, who want the results I'm going to give them, versus somebody who maybe is mediocre on the fence, not really my person at all, but I'm going to take them anyways because I want the $27 to make sure I get what I get. So we want to really make sure that we're looking at our offers, we're looking at what we're doing, we're looking at what we're amplifying. This all circles around with the wrong intention around money. This could be something that you started when you were younger. Maybe your parents were very big on don't spend your money, you don't want to spend on that. And I remember when I was younger, I didn't grow up with a lot of money. If we lost it or broke it, it was too bad. My parents didn't have money to buy it. Where my kids, it's like I tell them all the time, who cares if it breaks, we'll get another one. It's not a big deal. Different outlook on money. And I remember when I started getting into my own businesses, my own life, it was so hard. I was like, I can't spend $100 on a handbag. There's no way. Like, that's ridiculous. Now I'm sitting here going, I can't spend $30,000 on a handbag. That's ridiculous. Do you see where my intention around money has changed from $100 to $30,000? It has changed for me. My perspective, my understanding of money, the way I see money has changed, because I know for a matter of fact that if I want a car that's $100,000, I can go make $100,000 really easily if I wanted to, in any capacity, anywhere, doing anything, and I can go buy the car I want. So instead of saying, I can never touch a car like that, I can never work with a person like that, no one will ever pay me that, we need to shift our perspective on money. We need to say, will I ever do that? Could I ever do that? Once you can see yourself doing it, this changes the whole perspective, the whole dynamic. Once you're able to see yourself doing it, then what happens is you can start seeing others doing it. So Myron Golden, I love listening to him. He is just amazing. And he talks about when he first started charging for his coaching, I think he said it was like $5,000 if I remember correctly. And he said, when the first person told me they'll buy 4 slots instantly, I said, well, it's priced too low. Like, I don't want people to do that. It has to be harder for them. And slowly he kept charging more and more. And then people were just buying, I'll buy 8 slots. I'll buy 4 slots. I'll just pay you cash right up front. And what happened is he realized people are willing to pay him more and more and more for his coaching. So you want 1 hour of his time, it's $40,000. You want a VIP day with him, it's $325,000 for a VIP day. I'm thinking, dang, I can get the Bentley I want. But I'm going to tell you, the way I'm looking at money in my lens is that that's something I have to reach for. That's something where I want to be able to say, I make that much money. It's like a nickel. I want to be able to reach in my pocket, pull money out and be like, whatever, this is just change. That's what you should be able to think about when you're thinking about money. It should not be that, oh my God, that's so much money. How would someone ever do that? Because people out there are able to do that. This is how we're going to elevate you to the next level. And if you're in shadow success, which I talk a lot about, where you feel like you're in success, but you're actually in the dark shadows, where it's pulling you down and it's draining the life out of you, this is your first foothold to climbing out. Is to understand that you need to be able to make money, charge the amount that needs to be charged. We need to be able to say that the way we are actually living, what we are actually doing is what's hurting us the most. The way we perceive money, the way we're understanding everything. This is where that middle ground gets murky. This is where you get stuck. This is my entrepreneurs, my women, I'm talking to you, who are sitting there saying, I am making $200,000 a year. I'm stuck. It's flowing. It's great. I'm consistent, but I can't get past this. I don't know why. And then you almost get this feeling like, why is my business lagging? Why am I behind everyone? I thought I'd be so much farther ahead. I have a really good friend. She was talking to me and she was like, I don't understand. I make really good money, but I look at everyone else and I feel like I'm just so far behind. I first tell her, stop looking at everyone else, right? Which I'm going to talk about in a minute. Everybody else has a different economy than we do. So let's not look at everybody else. Second of all, if you have that feeling, there's something wrong in the business. There's something misaligned. Either you're working too hard for too little, which is your little bit of money for a whole bunch of time, or there's something else going on. So starting right here, understanding that we've created the shadow of success for ourselves. We're allowing it to pull us deeper by having these concerns for us understanding how money really plays into our success in business. It is that critical to understand. So I want to take you into this quote that I love by Myron. He says, you don't have money problems. You have intention problems. And I've said something very similar to this for years before I even came across his content. But I love how he puts it. You don't have money problems. You have intention problems. If you're struggling in money, I look at it 2 ways. One, you just need to make money to pay your bills. So maybe you're just looking at money as the one source to actually pay your bills, and that's all you see. That could be, right? That could be number one. Number 2 is, like I mentioned, you can't even imagine yourself paying that kind of money. That is a huge, huge red flag. If you want to make more money in the least amount of time, like I always tell people, if I charged you $100,000 for 1 minute and I changed your business and you started making millions of dollars, would you pay me $100,000 for a minute? Everybody I've asked say what? Yes. They say yes. Absolutely. The point is, you don't need a year to transform somebody. You don't need all this time. If you can give the results that you need in a small amount of time, charge for it. Somebody who already has been there, done that, experienced it all, they're going to drop their 30, 40,000. They're going to drop 100,000. I know people who drop the 300,000, no questions, because they know that the result that they're going to get is so huge that 300,000, they're going to make 5 times that. So we have to look at where we are in the spectrum, where we want to be seen, and we have to change our intention. I want to start with living in an economy that you haven't built. So this is a really cool concept. And again, Myron talks about this, and it's funny because I call it an ecosystem. I've never heard it explained the way he does it. I thought it was a cool way of kind of saying it. So he talks about not a economy. We all have our own economy. The way I look at it, and I've been looking at it for the past 10 years, is we all have our own filter, our own lens. We can build a business that fits the norm, what everybody says you should build, which I don't agree with, like at all. Or you build your own ecosystem, one that you feed, you nurture, you love, and it grows the way you want it. So then you can build one that lives and breathes effortlessly. That's the whole point of a business. That's your ecosystem. That's your life. That's everything you create should be created by design, not by looking at someone else. So when we talk about the economy, we talk about the way you're living, we talk about money. Right now in the economy, it's not great for a lot of people. It's really expensive to eat out. Clothes are expensive. So I can look at the economy and I can say, it's really hard. It's tough. I'm spending a lot of money on clothes. I'm going to live in this fear. If I'm saying it's hard and I'm saying I don't want to spend this money on clothes, then nobody's going to want to pay for my stuff. Nobody's going to pay me $30,000 for my coaching program. Nobody's going to come into my house of Cortesa. Nobody's going to do this. Nobody's going to come to my boot camp. So what are we doing now? We are focusing, we are creating an intention focused on negativity, focused on things that are not going to move the needle for us, because we're looking at the down part of it, the worst scenarios. I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not skinny enough. I'm not smart enough. All these things we tell ourselves, and maybe it's out there in the world too telling us, but all of that is not helping us. So instead of focus on the economy, that doesn't really exist, by the way, because everybody lives in a different world, are you understanding that you need to build your economy, your ecosystem to fit you? So the way I live is this. I don't look at the economy like fearful. I don't say, oh, it's all going to crash down. I actually look and say, hey, is there opportunity for us to take hold of something? But when I'm building my coaching business and I'm building the economy that I want, the way I look at it is I say, I'm not going to stress about this because I know my women, the entrepreneurs who have consistent sales, are going to need what I have. They're looking for it. I know they're looking for it. I just need to find them and they need to find me. They'll pay for it because they need it. And they'll see that the value inside of it, the transformation is so powerful. And honestly, it's not even priced super high, that they can come in and they can achieve greatness, be around a community of women all doing the same and having opportunities, not just to advance your business or your wealth, but to advance your health, your longevity, your family, your joy, and how to truly just live life in the moment while your business is still happening. That's the economy that I build. That's my ecosystem. I'm not worried about any of it. I just keep doing what I need to do. My relationship with money, the way I perceive everything, is different than what everyone else is. So I encourage you to make your intention around money to make more money with the least amount of effort. to build an ecosystem that actually will breathe, that will transform, that will make you feel light and happy, and an opportunity to have joy, be present in a moment, to take 3 days off like I did, not checking my phone once, not looking at anything that came through on my watch, nothing, just being with my family, being present in the moments, and enjoying my life. That's what this is about. So now we need to move into what you focus on actually expands. I know you've heard this saying, but it's important. This is where a lot of things can change for you. If you focus on distractions, they will expand. A lot of women that I've worked with are so focused on distractions. Their funnels, let's talk about funnels for a second. A funnel is a flow from moving a potential customer through to be a customer and keep them in an ecosystem. That's really a funnel. What happens is we get hyper-focused on distractions. I need my Instagram to be 10,000 people. I need to have the best graphics. I need to have the best landing pages. I need this. I need this. I need this. Oh, my house is not great. Look at my space that I'm recording in, right? I can make it a distraction or I can just make it work. We're living in my new house. We're going to be renovating here in the next 3 or 4 months. I'm moving again. I am not going to put any time or money into my office. And by the way, my office is my dining room. Yes, I have all my kids put away so that I can record this, but I don't care. I'm not going to make this space a distraction for me. What is more important for me is to focus on my intention of getting my content out, making sure that you hear what I have to say, that it's good, that it's valuable. That's more important than me fussing with, there's no picture behind me. I don't like the way it works. I don't have lighting. I have a window next to me that's too bright. I don't have enough light in front of me. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not going to stress about it. I make it work. So we need to focus less on distractions, and we need to get super hyper focused on things that move the needle. This is critical. When you get hyper focused on things that move the needle, that makes your health lighter. That makes your family time better. That makes everything you do so much better. So I want you to take a minute to look through your business. I want you to rest and reflect. By taking a break, not thinking about your business, it gives you time to rest. Then when you sit down and you give a little focus onto it, this is where your aha moments come from. What's that leak that's happening? Why am I focused on distractions? Why do I hate Mondays? Why am I not making more money? Why is the money that's coming in harder than ever to get? Why do I feel like I'm being pulled down to a black hole? These are things that I want you to look at when you're looking at these, because it's what changes and what moves the needle. Where's your floor? Don't go below it. Always raise up that floor, your pricing floor. I look at that very carefully of what I can and cannot do. So if I'm going to spend my time here in coaching, it has to be worth my time. Because in my other businesses, I can go make some really good money really fast if I just put a little time over there. So I want you to really think about, are you undercharging? Are you overworking? Are you playing small? And that's your financial intention right now. The next question is, if you don't like what you're making, it's because you either made it or accepted that offer, which we talked a lot about. And I know Myron talks a lot about that, which I love. So you have to remember, you agreed to this subconsciously or consciously, which means we can change all of it. We have to take the first step. We have to recognize that this has happened. We have to recognize that you are here. To change your income, you have to change your intention, not just the effort. I can change my effort all day long on my eating, all day long. But if I don't have the right intention of why I'm doing this, what's the point, where I'm going, what I want to achieve, that Halloween candy sitting there is very easy for me to gobble up a ton of pieces without realizing it. I have an intention. I do not want to gain my weight back. It's not for anyone but for me. I want to be healthy. I want to run my business. I want a healthy business. I want an ecosystem that breathes. So I am now going to intentionally seek easy ways to make a lot of money. I'm not going to look for the hardest path. I'm not going to say, if I try to get 5,000 people at 97, I can make money. What about one person? at $2,000 to make money? What about one person at $30,000? Right? Like I said, I can do one deal in my other business and I can make $80,000 in a month. Or sometimes I make $120,000 a month, right? What about that? And here I'm still growing my audience. I'm still growing my people, but I know my time is worth that. And I'll get to that. I'll get to the point where I'll either be just in the ecosystem of the House of Cortesa, giving it away in there, or I'll be charging an amount for something at a certain level where I feel comfortable. But right now, $30,000, I'm comfortable. That's a very comfortable level for me to be at. So just remember, stop looking for the hard ways to make very little money and start looking for the easy ways to make a whole lot of money. That is what I'm about. Simplifying your funnel, simplifying the flow of everything that it takes to get you there. We don't need more. We need less. Subtraction is king. That's where we need to really focus on. So understand, if your intention is set to survival, you'll always hustle just to get by. We don't want to be in survival mode. We're not making money just to pay bills. Okay? We got to start right there. We need to be in the mode to build wealth with ease. That's key. It always has to feel effortless. It is very easy to get bloat. It is very easy to get too much stuff going on. We're deeper in shadow success. That's when it's got us. That's when it's pulling us down tighter. Let it go. Get rid of the bloat. It's really, really important. Do you need this? No. I just went through my whole system here on the coaching side. And I said, why do I have 1,000 things to get me to one thing I need? I don't need it. I literally cut it all out. I'm simplifying. YouTube feeds into I'm going to probably add like a mini experience, but YouTube feeds into my experience and to my open house for House of Cortesa. They feed into the application process because it's a private society. You have to apply to join. The application process, then whoever gets in, they will have an affiliate link. That's where they're going to really see me. They're going to love me. They're going to be there. That's where they're warming up. So I'm focusing there. So we got to really be focused on that. Okay. So now as we come to an end, I want you to think money is not hard to earn when it's in alignment. It is not. I promise you. I will help you if you want to jump in the House of Cortesa and be part of that, or you want to come to one of my live experiences. I help you jump 5% growth in your business in one day. It's crazy, but you will have it. It's nothing like you've ever been to. I'm working on a mini experience. We can't promise 5% because it's mini, but we're going to get you some growth. We're going to get you some movement so that you can experience how cool this really is. But you need to understand money is not hard to earn. Money comes faster when you're anchored in clear intentions. When you have the right intentions around money, growth, everything you want to do, this all is really, really easy. Money flows towards clarity, confidence, and clean containers. That's key. We need to have clarity around what we want. Why are we doing it? Who is it for? Why it makes us happy? All that good stuff, okay? So try saying, every dollar I spend is a seed in my ecosystem. Every dollar I earn is a reflection of what I'm allowing in. Live inside your new ecosystem. Stop checking the weather report on the economy. I want you to really stop. You can look at different things if you want, but that's only going to bring you down. I want you to start trending on your own ecosystem that you're building. Don't say yes to everything. So just keep that in mind. Refine often. Less is more. Lighter is wealthier. When I hyper-focus on my financial intention, I stop leaking energy into distractions that never pay me anyways. As we wrap up today's podcast, I want to just tell you the relationship we have with money is key. We need to make sure that we understand making the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time versus the least amount of money in the longest amount of time. We want to make a lot of money quickly with the least amount of effort. We want to take our time that's left over and we want to be able to go enjoy our life. And so I want your relationship around money and this whole concept to understand that if you build your intention right and you really look at how you want your financial future to be, it's huge. It's life-changing. So really understanding the role that money has that plays for you, the life you live now, remember, you chose it one way or another. You've chosen it. So if you don't like it, it's time to choose a new one. That can be hard. I get it. I'm here to help. I really am. So is the House of Cortessa. So is my live experience in Nashville. We have one set for January. We're talking about possibly moving it up to December because we're getting a lot of people interested. It's a small curated event where you'll get a 5% growth. There's two options, a half day and we call it a full event experience. The half day is just going to be probably from 10 to 5 p.m. You're going to get your experience. You're going to get your growth. You move on. Or you stay for the full experience, which means you get a curated dinner, which is going to be a bonus discussion, bonus everything. And then you also are going to be connected with people who you can collaborate with. And then in the morning, we're going to have brunch together where we're going to do some more networking, some more collaboration, a nice little wrap up of what has happened through the dinner to bring it all to an end at the brunch. So there's some really cool stuff happening, but this is where you take it to the next level. So if you're like, I'm done with all this, I don't want to do this anymore. I want a better business. I want a better life. I did great. I've done phenomenal, but I want to go to the next level. Then you're in the right spot. Hang tight with me here on YouTube and on my podcast. I have great content coming out. Every week I'm working hard. We are redefining all of this. I'm doing it all on my own right now to make sure that I really am getting great content to you. So if you like something, comment below. If you want to ask for a topic for me to discuss, comment below. If you just want to get on that wait list, the link's below. Get on the wait list. Let's get you in the House of Cortessa if it's the right fit and move you along. Thank you for joining me today on the Christina Kokologiannakis show. I'm excited to have you here. You'll see a live video recording here on YouTube every Monday, or if you're listening to me on Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to your podcast, you'll have the audio recording there. I'll see you next week.